Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Manbitesfilm. This week we are actually going to be doing a throwback episode because I had unfortunately gotten sick with the plague, not the coronavirus, just something else, and I basically had no voice whatsoever when we would normally record, and I'm recording this the night before this drops on Thursday because I finally got enough of a voice to be able to record this, and even then, it's still not completely back. So we're actually going to be going back into the vault. And I'm actually going to be bringing episode 97 that covers the interview and the circle. And then we are actually going to be bringing back Primer from episode 1, which we are going to be revisiting very soon for our 100th episode, since that was the first episode we ever actually did. So you get to hear something that is no longer on YouTube because Branden and I recorded this first. This was the first episode of Manbitesfilm. So you could actually see the progression that we had. And then we go into episode 49 of the YouTube show, The Two Faces of January and The Bagman. So I hope you guys enjoy, and I'm so sorry that we weren't able to bring out new content this week. We will make up for it next week, I promise, and we have a special surprise for the next few weeks. So I hope you enjoy, and stay safe, everybody out there. Of Manbitesfilm. My name is Luis.
I am Will, and tonight the movies that I decided to go with is Interview with a Vampire, 1994's adaptation of Anne Rice from The Vampire Chronicles, which was a 9-book series, and this was the first one, but it was supposed to be an entire series of them, and they did 2 of them. They did Interview, and then they did Queen of the Damned.
Which was horrible.
It was okay. It wasn't like horrible. I mean, there's been a lot worse vampire movies, but it was
just that Korn soundtrack was horrific. Oh God.
I'll give you that. It wasn't the best Korn that there was out there, but yeah. But I personally liked Townsend as the stat. But anyway,
yes.
Interview with Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Antonio Banderas, Christian Slater, Kirsten Dunst. It was like a all-star of up and coming and also established Hollywood stars at the time. It was directed by Neil Jordan, who had already done The Crying Game, went on to do The Brave One, and did Michael Collins, all 3 movies, classics.
He did Collins.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know he did that.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know either until I looked it up, and I was like, oh, good to know. All 3 movies I've watched. They're great. Interview is a little over 2 hours. Yeah. Well, we may do Crying Game at some point, because that's the movie that we need to discuss. But it runs a little over 2 hours. It's 123 minutes, so it's not, an average long movie. Covers a lot. It was really at the time what had turned me into this whole vampire lore, which I'm glad that it was a movie like this and not something like Twilight. Because if I would have looked at a movie going, they sparkle, yay. No.
God, do you remember back in the day the Masquerade, Vampire the Masquerade? Oh, that was epic. Come on. That came around the same time, and that shit was awesome.
It was. But for the times, it was. Then you had Tarantino's From Dusk Till Dawn, which was a whole different genre.
Yeah.
But we should do like an entire episode called Vampires at this point. But Interview. It was good. It took me in. I had heard about it. My sister was the first one to have watched it. My older sister, my son. But she told me about it, and then I finally got to see it myself. And it was good. I saw the movie before I read the book, so I was still very entertained even reading the book. But, which then, obviously led me to read all of it.
Anne Rice, yeah.
Exactly. But it was, what I really liked about it wasn't just because, it was what I had always envisioned as a vampire and how they turn and, this... It explores more than just like, oh, we're humans and there's vampires amongst us and we're going to get killed. It was kind of like the first movie that I got to see where it explores life of vampires. It was seen from the perspective of vampires. vampire because he was interviewed with one, and how he was turned, how he turned, and what they go through from when they've been bitten to when they turn. Brad Pitt's character Luis would refuse to take lives, and he would eat rats, and until he was forced to actually take a life, and turn Claudia, which Kirsten Dunst at the time was very young, but the way that she portrayed herself, with somebody like Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt and Banderas, she was up there. Like, she made a name for herself. She came to play with the big boys, and she killed it. No pun intended. No pun intended. But it was really great, and then the more you watch it, and the more the movie goes on, the darker it gets. Then you get introduced to the whole the Antonio Banderas' group, which have this theater to where they're vampires pretending to be humans, pretending to be vampires. Wrap your head around that one for a second.
It's a subculture. I like how the film actually portrays that subculture that was rampant back in the mid '90s. You remember, it was the huge vampire craze. Everybody was reading Anne Rice, and it was that came right in the middle of it, and it sparked everybody's interest, and in the good way, because the vampires were royalty. It wasn't like these little pussy vampires that
there's
Twilight.
a hierarchy. You learn there's a hierarchy.
Yeah.
Even we think as vampires as savages, and once you're a vampire, everybody's the same. And then by watching this, you kind of learn that there's within their own society, there's rules. Yeah. There's like you said, there's loyalty. There's hierarchies. You don't kill each other. You don't drink off of dead people. Other things that may kill vampires, if you drink blood from a dead body, it could kill you, or it actually does kill you. But also another thing was the cinematography was amazing, because part of it takes place in New Orleans, and then there's New York and everything else. But also it goes through time, because the interview is taking place in 1994. But it goes back, with the flashbacks, and the costuming was really good. It was spot on. And as time goes by, you notice how the costuming changes, and how people are, Paris back in the 1900s and everything. It's I thought at the time it was the best movie that I just watched over and over and over. And to this day, I will say, and I will watch it and still find stuff that at the beginning I'm like, I don't remember this part, or I'd never noticed this. So
I thought Francis Ford Coppola was the director of this for a long time. I didn't know that it was
no, Coppola didn't do everything. I know you wish he would have, but unfortunately he didn't have that power.
Was he a producer on it though, or was
I would have to look that up. I'm not sure, but I don't think I've ever seen his name attached to it, but I could be wrong, and I'll definitely look into that, and I'll...
Maybe I think it's something else.
Could be, but hey, you never know. Like I said, you learn something new every day, and this could be the one thing that I learned today. But overall, I mean, I'd say probably a good 9.5 out of 10, because it's a childhood, as much as you want to call it a childhood movie. It was one of the first movies that really introduced me to the horror genre and vampires and whatnot. This was before Tom Cruise went Tom Cruise, and he was still the big name in Hollywood with Brad Pitt and everything else. Between the cast, the director, everything all together, it was just a very well made. It stayed true to the books as much as it possibly could, and you have to cut, you have to cut. But you never really lost anything. Yeah. And till the very end, it keeps you guessing, and there's that final scene to where you're like, oh, okay. That's how it's going to end. That's cool. And it leaves it open, obviously, for the consummations, which unfortunately never came in the style that we hoped. But you never know, because it's Hollywood, and they are revamping everything, and they're in the process of redoing.
Really?
It got greenlit.
Oh, boy. Let's see who's going to be involved in it.
I'm not even going to touch that one right now. But check it out if you haven't seen it yet. Don't watch it at night if you scare easily, because there is... It's not just jump scares, but it's just it's not gory, but if you're afraid of the dark, watch it with a friend. Very entertaining, very great, and
or a friend that you want to jump at least.
Exactly, and definitely something that within the Halloween in the Halloween time you want to check out. So, what did you get to watch?
I watched The Circle. This is
Okay.
currently streaming on Netflix, and it's pretty much no-name actors, but the whole concept basically runs around these 50 people suddenly wake up in a giant circle. Yes, that's the name of the movie, and that's the reason it's named Circle. But pretty much they wake up and they're like, what the hell is going on? And suddenly they realize that if they move outside of the circle that they're standing on or sitting on, they get killed. And then little by little it develops into basically choice by hatred. So if 3 or 4 people decide to hate on one person just because they're talking up or saying that they're idiots or anything like that, or bringing up a controversial point, it chooses them to kill them. You don't know what called all of these people into it. They don't explain it was aliens. It doesn't explain whether it's the government at first. You don't understand what's going on for the first 30 minutes, which is intriguing. And the way that they keep it interesting is that these people are basically a giant social experiment, and they realize that. They're like, okay, this could be one of 3 different things. It could be the government, it could be aliens, or it could just be some crazy guy screwing with us. And they're like, okay, what can we do to figure this out? And they try to start figuring out what they have in common, what they, if they've encountered each other on the road, because they all find out that they all got zapped from the same area. They were all stuck in traffic in LA, and they all got zapped from the same area.
That's a lot of people.
So you could imagine that all these people, LA is a melting pot. I mean, that's worse than Miami. So there's so many different types of personalities. You get cops involved in there. You had a military guy that just got home from Iraq. You had another guy that was a priest, another guy that was a criminal, 3 or 4 people that were criminals, and they're all trying to figure out, and they even had kids involved in the thing, which is very interesting when they got the social aspect of it.
Huh.
When they get the numbers down and everybody starts dying off, they're like, there's a pregnant woman and there's a kid. What are we going to do?
Which is always interesting when you get a scary movie which involves kids or even pregnant women, but especially kids, because you always think that they are the safe ones, they're the innocent ones, and therefore, unless we're talking It or that's kind of children from the corn. But for the most part, in scary movies like these or a horror movie genre, kids are usually like the safe haven.
Yeah.
So when you throw in a kid into the mix, it's like shit just got real.
Yeah.
It's like you ain't even safe, and it's either me or you, and it ain't gonna be me. So that's a very interesting.
And it becomes
aspect.
very self-aware because the people are like, oh shit, they're dying off. That means we're selecting the people to die off. So they start trying to figure out a way to choose the people and choosing sides. So they make groups trying to figure out who to choose next, to make calculated decisions, side against side, group against group, and
It's
then
like the weakest link from hell.
Yeah. And then it gets to the point where they're trying to make that decision. Who is it going to be? The pregnant woman or the kid? Because they know in the end it's going to be one of the two.
What would you pick?
At the end of that movie, I was like, what would I... Yeah.
Without going off what you know, because I haven't seen it, but if you were in that circle and it came down between the pregnant woman and the kid, how would you go about it? What would be your thought process?
Probably the pregnant woman, because that's 2 lives.
So you'd kill the pregnant woman, or she'd save the pregnant woman?
I'll save the pregnant woman.
Save the pregnant woman. Okay.
Because that's a child that hasn't had the opportunity to do anything yet. And a woman as well. That's saving 2 lives for the price of 1, basically.
Even if it means by saving her, you're next?
Yeah. There's actually a scene where, this is not giving away too much because it kind of happens right in the first 1/3 of the movie. This kid, he's like, I can't make these decisions. So he literally steps off and sacrifices himself. And he's like, no, I'm not going to make this choice. I think it's morally wrong. So I'd rather kill myself than make this decision. And that's very interesting. The movie has a very, very strong psychological, social commentary about how we are as people. And the ending is epic. That ending, 5 minutes. I was like, wow. My mind was just blown because it's that good. It just grabs you from the first moment and ends. It's only an hour and a half long.
Okay.
And it flies. And it's all one room, which is awesome. So again, The Circle, I give this one a 7 out of 10. The only reason I don't go any further is because some of the acting is shabby and kind of wonky. But, I mean, given what it is, it's very high concept, so you can't really do much with a high concept film. And it does a great job, though. Great job with it.
Okay. I'm definitely going to have to check this one out.
Yeah,
I'm
you
already
definitely do.
Not tonight, because I don't do nighttime horrors, especially with stuff like this. Or maybe tomorrow at some point, when the sun's bright and I turn on all the windows and the lights are on and the cat's sitting on the bed with me, like, ooh, nice kitty, nice kitty, nice kitty.
So, Interview, where is that one streaming on?
Interview is streaming on Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime? Okay.
Yes.
So, Interview is streaming with Amazon, Circle's streaming with Netflix. Both great streaming platforms, so please check out both of these films, or at least one of them. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode of Manbitesfilm. My name is Luis.
I'm Will.
And we'll see you guys next week for another episode. Welcome to an exploration of sight and mind, a travel through the world of films and the artists that bring you these masterpieces. Do you love films, directors, actors, cinematographers, editors, composers, or any of the hundreds of artists that bring you these feats of art? I am Luis Lacau, your host into the world of films, your guide to Man Bites Retro. My name is Luis.
I'm Branden.
And we are
Manbitesfilm. So every week we're going to start with a segment called Love and Hate. One of us is going to pick something that we hate, and the other person will pick something that they love. I'm going to start this week with something that I'm kind of digging at the moment, and that's Fear the Walking Dead, which, if no one knows, is the precursor to The Walking Dead. It kind of takes place during the apocalypse. It kind of shows you as the world starts going to shit instead of after, which no one shows that. It's kind of, you always go into a post-apocalypse thing, and it's just after. And I've talked about with some of my other friends, like, the most interesting things about that. The apocalypse, post-apocalypse is the apocalypse. I want to see shit hit the fan, and that's what Fear the Walking Dead is. I have my gripes with it. Some of the characters are really annoying, and, I'll give you an instance. The mother knows that there are zombies. You know, she's seen a zombie, but she refuses to tell her daughter, even though their front neighbor is getting eaten at the moment. Why?
But that's a usual TV plot hole that they always have.
I know. That
every TV show always has plot holes like crazy when it comes to their characters.
But I'm really digging it because it's not about the walkers, even though the Walking Dead isn't about the walkers either. It's not about the zombies. It's about human beings becoming animals, basically, right?
It's just a lot of walking. They should have just called it Walking, no Dead part, because it was not about fucking zombies. It was about people just. All right, we're being chased by random people with heavy-duty makeup.
Okay, I'll give you that. I do feel like The Walking Dead is kind of spiraling out of control at the moment. And I feel like Fear the Walking Dead is something new, it's something fresh. And check it out. It's about to end. The last episode is premiering, I think, October 4th. So you have that, and it's only 6 episodes, so check it out if you want. It's pretty good. Yeah, and it's the apocalypse, which you never see, so it's relatively interesting, so check it out.
Alright, and I'm going to be doing the hate part of this segment because, of course, I hate everything.
I really want to hear what you hate. I really want to hear it.
I watched Frank.
Oh, okay. The Michael Fassbender one?
Yeah, the one with the giant head.
Yes.
Alright, first of all, Michael Fassbender's in it, okay. So that automatically drew me into it.
Okay.
This movie could have been done with another actor in the guy's head. because Michael Fassbender is not part of that freaking movie.
Yeah.
At all. He
voices him too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the singing and everything is actually done by him.
Okay.
Which is actually really cool when he actually does it. If it was music, it's literally like the super artsy just... I farted, that's music. That's literally what he fucking does throughout the whole movie. And just... It is a mind-blowing hour and a half long of just dragging. It drags, but I mean to the extreme that I've never seen in a movie. You're literally staring at your clock the whole time while you're watching.
I hate those movies. Like, you're like, please just end. Yeah. I want this hour and a half of my life to be over.
And then, of course, you can't just cut it off halfway through because
you're like, I've invested.
You want to see the end.
Yeah, you're like, I've invested this much time. Yeah.
And it's Michael Fassbender, so I want to see his face eventually at the end of the movie.
Yeah. Does he have a mask?
Spoiler, yes, he does.
Oh!
But that's the most exhilarating part of the whole movie is when he gets unmasked.
Can I ask you a question about that movie? Mm-hmm. Why do they ever go into detail about why he's wearing this giant fucking head?
Yes, and that's the funny part. That was literally less than a minute-long segment of the movie.
It doesn't make sense.
It was like, okay, I want to see what the parents have to say about this guy, and they just go, oh, he just did this.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
It wraps up in 5 minutes. And the rest of the movie, it's literally like I said, it's just walking around aimlessly. It was a poor attempt at Almost Famous. Just...
Okay. So you hated it.
Yeah. In my book, it got 1 star. That's how bad it was. And it got that star because Michael Fassbender's in it. That's the only reason it got it.
Okay. All right.
this is the final segment of our show, and we're gonna actually be reviewing the main film for this review.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
This week we're going to do, well, for the first week, we're going to be doing Lewis's choice, which is Primer. This film was released in 2004 by a guy by the name of Shane Carruth. He was the director, and he also stars in it as one of the main characters, Aaron. The movie had a $7,000 budget. I don't think he's ever directed anything other than that, right?
Nothing else.
Nothing else.
And it shows.
Oh, damn. We're getting into it. So Lewis is going to go into the IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes, even though that doesn't really matter. We're not going to... This is our opinion. It's not... That won't change our opinions in any way possible.
Yeah, but it has a big reflection of how the rating system is really fucked up. All right. Rotten Tomato gave it a 71%, which was extremely generous.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
IMDb gave it a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
And again, that was extremely generous.
Okay.
I personally think that the film was severely lacking. You saw the budget in the film. You could tell that it was digital at its beginning.
Yeah. You could clearly tell. It was kind of the way the film looked, not like the way it looked, but like the graininess of the film reminded me kind of 28 Days Later.
Yeah, but that 28 Days Later, the transfer was completely different.
I know.
The story, it was kind of jumbled, and I mean, you could get away with a jumbled storyline if it's done properly. And even the graininess, like Pie is super grainy and extremely hard to follow, but it has a structure, and you could get along with it. You understand the whole storyline. I didn't understand the whole storyline.
Yeah, no. I completely agree with you. The story was very convoluted. The reason being is because Shane Carruth was he graduated college with a degree in mathematician. Can't speak today. Mathematician. So he if you watch the film, you could tell because his dialogue is very dense. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that even I was like, what is going on? And I kind of respect that because it's his vision, and I don't think you should dumb down your vision for anyone. I do respect him in that manner.
I agree, but you also got to remember it's entertainment.
No, I know.
A film is supposed to entertain a crowd, an audience, and I'm sorry, but that's why mathematicians aren't artists. All right, Darren Aronofsky, he does a phenomenal job putting in the intellectual aspect of it and the artistic aspect of it. This film did not do either one of them. Yeah. It was dragging.
Yeah,
and I mean dragging.
No, I wouldn't say it dragged for me. Like, I wasn't like you were talking about earlier about like Frank, that you wanted it to end. I never was at any moment during Primer that I was like, please end.
Neither was I.
It wasn't that horrendous to me. I don't know if I liked it. I don't know if I hated it. I was kind of in the middle. I think the form of time travel is really fucking confusing. Yeah. I was like, what is going on? I had to find a graph online for it to explain to me how time travel and Primer worked, and still I was like, this is weird. This is just strange, and it's not for everyone. I don't think the movie is for everyone.
You see, but I caught that. I caught the whole time travel mix and everything. I don't know if because I've been watching really out there films lately, but I got the concept of it, but I didn't feel vested with the characters.
Yeah.
I didn't feel any emotional connection with the characters. You know, when that whole thing happened, by the way, spoilers.
Yeah.
When the girl was getting killed and they were going back to save her.
Which they kind of say that they've done it multiple times.
Yeah.
They never say... Like, what? No, you know who I thought was the most random character that they introduced him for no fucking reason? Was the dad, the guy that's following them in the car.
Yeah.
I was like, why is this guy being introduced? And then like they're like, yeah, he's comatose, and then he never gets seen again. Yeah. Why? It doesn't make sense to me.
Which, at least from what I understood, was that he was also in one of the other boxes.
Yeah, he was.
Because they created a third box, and then he was able to travel back and meet up with them, and because he was invested in it, he wanted to be part of it and follow and figure out what's going on. But how did he find out about it in the first place? That's what I'm trying to figure out. I don't understand.
No, the movie completely lost me. at the end when they started talking about the fail-safe this and the fail-safe that, and I was like, what? I like you just went from being a complicated film to an overly complicated film that most people aren't. They're not going to invest the time and the brain power to follow what is happening. And like there were things I liked about it. Like I did like that like time travel does destroy their relationship. It completely crumbles it because Aaron just becomes a total douchebag and all he cares about is himself. And he even says it at the end. He's like, all I want is money. And Abe tells him, like, never come back. I don't want to see you around your daughter or your wife or whatever. And he's like, yeah, I won't come back. And it's like, it's fucked up how much it morphs him. And I don't know if you got this. At the end, he's like making a building-sized machine. Yeah. With the people from where I think it's France.
And he was trying to go back and restart everything, so he would be able to erase all the drama that he created.
So fucking weird.
Which it seemed like the whole film, the synopsis of it was fantastic.
Yeah.
But then once you expanded the whole storyline in the script, that's where they went wrong. No. They just tried to drag on the film longer than it should have.
Yeah, even then, the movie's pretty short compared to most films nowadays.
It was only 118 minutes.
It's an hour and 20. That's less than an 80-minute film, which most films nowadays are 90 minutes.
Yeah,
but wasn't my opinion. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't great. Do I recommend it? Maybe if you're into that whole like mind fuck and you just want to go for a somewhat crazy ride, watch it. But for if you're a casual moviegoer, don't do that to yourself.
I would only recommend this film if you go smoke out and watch the film, or really watch it drunk. That's the only way I would recommend this film. If not, do not waste your time because you're just going to be bored out of your fucking mind.
Someone please, if you could tell me the plot of Primer in 5 minutes, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah,
because that would be that'd make my day.
I don't think that could happen.
No.
You're talking about a mathematician doing a movie. That's not going to work.
Man,
it's not going to work.
I'm telling you, that dialogue was so heavy. It's bad when I have Wikipedia open next to me, reading the synopsis of the film, making sure that I'm understanding what is happening in this movie. Because at certain points, I was like, I am so utterly lost.
Yeah.
I get the main plot, but then little tidbits happen here and there, and I'm like, who's this person? And because they mention them in passing, and they don't mention them much, and then they just come back, and you're like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Once you start following the plot, they just go, and they throw a new character, and you're like, what the hell?
Like the 3 characters in the beginning. No, the 2 other guys with Abe and Aaron.
What the hell
happened?
They're
there for like 10 minutes, and then just.
They were like,
they disappear.
Were they scientists? Were they just friends? Were they drinking buddies? I mean,
I don't. But whatever. So, bottom line, what would you rate this? What you want to rate it 1 to 5?
1 to 5.
1 being fucking terrible, 5 being this is one of the best films ever.
I'll give it a 2, just because of the storyline.
I give it a 3. 3.
Yeah, I'm a little more critical when it comes to that stuff.
I know. But hey, different strokes for different folks. That's all it takes.
All right, so you want to introduce yourself a little bit, since this is our first official episode.
Okay, what would you like me to say about myself? I don't know.
Oh, your background.
Okay, so I'm Branden, as I said earlier in the beginning of the episode. I'm Luis's cousin, younger cousin. He got me into films. I don't think I have as an eclectic taste as you do in certain aspects, but I do dabble in pretty strange and like weird. Like, oh man, you showed me some strange shit over the years that I'm just not gonna get into. But I'm a movie buff. I like movies. I play video games. I read comics. I'm a weird dude. As you can tell, I got a Dragon Ball Z shirt. And, that's just me.
Favorite director?
Oh, fuck. Don't do this to me.
You gotta say it. You gotta say it.
Fuck you. Oh, shit. It's that question to me is like, favorite band? No, I can't answer that.
You gotta have a favorite director, though. You gotta have one director that's clean-cut favorite.
Oh, Lord. Shit, man, that's actually really hard. Like, honestly, like, I find that to be a very difficult question. Kubrick's awesome. Spielberg is great in his older shit. Spielberg, I think, has lost his touch.
I don't think he's lost it.
I
think he's going more for the money and retiring now.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's a completely different story.
Danny Boyle is a great director.
Yeah, I agree.
I wouldn't say he's my favorite, but I do like Danny Boyle. I feel like most of the stuff that I've seen by Danny Boyle, I'm like, I am on board with this shit. 20 Days Later, Sunshine, Slumdog Millionaire, right?
Yep.
And now he's doing Steve Jobs, which I really want to see. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah. I think Fassbender's in it as well.
Yes, he is Steve Jobs. So
there you go.
And
Fassbender again.
Fassbender's awesome. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell. I'm gonna be here. I'm his stunt double. No, I don't know, bro. I'm just a weirdo.
All right. So my name is Luis. I studied film, but never really got into it fully because I sucked at it. Pretty much.
Oh, don't.
No. I was a film dropout. All right.
Don't
I was a film dropout, but I really admire films. I love films. That's my life style. I'm obsessed with movies.
That and Doctor Who.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That's your life.
You'll eventually find that out very quickly. Favorite director, definitely by a long shot, Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah!
Because, this man, talk about range. You're talking about, he's done the top 5 films of every single genre. In every single genre, he's made one of the top 10 films, period.
No, yeah.
Across the board. He's one of the most eccentric directors of all time.
He's one of my favorites. I wasn't going to pick that one because, I knew you were going to pick that one. I know you too well. So I knew you were going to pick that one. But, he is, like Lewis is going to continue saying, he is an incredible director.
And you're going to be seeing a lot of me on here. Branden's going to be doing guest appearances, actually showing up here.
Because I'm not from here.
Yeah. If not, he's actually going to be here in spirit as an audio podcast.
I'm going to be a floating head somewhere in the shot.
You're going to see as a random little light bubble here floating, and then his voice is going to be coming from that light bubble. I don't know how I'm going to figure that out.
I'm going to fill your ear holes with this sexy voice of mine.
Oh, jeez. That's a disturbing thought. That's a very disturbing thought. Oh, God.
It's going to happen,
though. Traumatize that.
It's going to happen. But, I don't know how the hell you're going to do that, but I'm going to be here somehow. I'll be here for the first 2 episodes. But, eventually I will be a floating orb somewhere, and my voice will emanate from somewhere.
And then also at the end of each podcast, we're actually going to be telling you which film we're going to be reviewing and discussing in the next episode. That way you guys get a chance to actually watch the episode and discuss with us. Yeah. Because that's what I really appreciate doing, is actually you guys screaming at your phone or screaming at wherever you're watching YouTube or this podcast. Yeah. I want you to be screaming at us and telling us, fuck you, that's not what I want, that's not what I heard, that's not what I saw. Or saying, fuck yeah, that's right, that's exactly what I heard, that's what I saw. Yeah. So, the next week we're actually going to be reviewing
Babadook, because it's my pick. Oh, yeah. And since we're in October, I wanted to do a horror film. So, we're going to be doing Babadook. Don't hate me, I did a lot of coke, alright?
Yeah, right?
Remember to... Fuck! Shit! Alright.
Doesn't matter, Branden. The coke's kicking in?
Yes, it is. Alright.
Fucking coke addict. I can't imagine coke addicts.
Why?
I just wanted to interrupt you.
Oh, fuck you. Alright. Remember to like our video.
Try it one more time?
Remember to like our video.
Can you hear from here?
Yeah, I can. We're gonna keep this.
Yeah, he needs cue cards because,
fuck you.
It's all like coke. It keeps getting to his mind.
Remember to like the video. Comment down below. I did below. And you hate that shit.
Fuck you with your below.
Okay, we're gonna start the one over then.
I think that's a good one.
I guess we'll see you guys next
back, everybody. Today we are going to be reviewing first-time directors on Manbitesfilm. The first film that I want to get into right off the bat is The Two Faces of January. This is a film done by Hussein Amani, and it stars Viggo Mortensen, Kristen Dunst, and Oscar Isaac. The Viggo Mortensen character is basically the drunk tourist guy. Kristen Dunst is the wife of the drunk tourist guy, and Oscar Isaac is the tour guide. This is basically these couples travel through Italy, and they get caught up in something that occurred in the past with Viggo Mortensen. It catches up to them, and they suddenly have to make a run for it and get out of the country as quick as possible, because if not, don't know what's going to happen. So they grab Oscar Isaac and they run. They hightail it out. They try to run as quickly as possible out of the country without getting caught by the past. And they do this in this film very meticulously. It's shot so well. It grabs the landscapes of Italy and stuff like that, or what looks like Italy, but it uses it as a backdrop. It doesn't concentrate on it. Usually, like these type of films and stuff like that, they try to grab those landscapes and run with them and show a lot of the landscapes and all that stuff to get the most out of their buck. But this film doesn't. It just uses it as a backdrop, which I find incredibly well done. The only film I've ever seen that does that is Talented Mr. Ripley, that they travel through all these countries and they still use it just as a backdrop, not as a main principal character in the film like most of these guys do. Oscar Isaac does a phenomenal job in this. I mean, this guy is an outstanding actor, and I just really hope he doesn't get sucked into the Star Wars machine and never let out again. He is a great character actor. He does a good job of grabbing this character and showing the manipulative side, yet the humanistic side of this character. And it is very much a character piece. Hussein does a good job with this, establishing these characters, flushing them out, building the drama between the three characters, and it works so well. I give this film a 7 out of 10. It is streaming on Netflix. It's easy access, and it's something that has not gotten any attention whatsoever, and I think it deserves it. It is a 2014 film, so again, The Two Faces of January. Please check this out. I definitely do recommend this film. It is great. Alright, the next one that I want to review is The Bagman. This is a 2014 by David Grovic, and it stars John Cusack, which is one of my favorite actors, and Robert De Niro. It revolves around a hired hand, and he's told to find a bag. And the bag is going to be at a particular location, so you have to go grab it, make sure, don't open it, don't do anything with it. I just want you to grab it, but you're going to encounter problems along the way. That's what Robert De Niro tells him. And John Cusack's like, okay, what kind of problems? And you can tell right off the bat that De Niro and him have a reputation already before. So he's a hired hand and he's done shit like this before. So the fact that De Niro is pointing out the fact that you're going to run into people, it's like, oh. And this is a weird twist of characters. I don't even know where to begin with it. It's such an odd play. It feels like there's something missing. It feels very David Lynchian in style. It has that like very artistic style to it. You can tell this is a first time director because of the fact that he doesn't really put the story dancing with all these characters together easily. It's very hard to do that, especially as a first-time director with all these character actors. And I think he does a good job for what's given to him, and for a first-time film for him, I think he does a really good job with it, and he kind of takes the ball and runs with it. And I like that. I really do. I appreciate his work. He does a phenomenal... he has a great vision for the film. And he does put the characters together, but there's something missing from it. And I can't pinpoint exactly what is missing in it. But there's something there that's not there. So this film is great, but it has its downfalls. This is another streaming pick. This is a 2014 film as well. And please check this one out. This was streaming on Netflix. And stars John Cusack. Anything with John Cusack's at least going to be mildly entertaining. In the least. So that's how I always point it out. The next film that we're going to do is not streaming on Netflix, but it is available for send-away, and it's streaming on Amazon. It's called Eden Lake. This is a 2008 film done by James Watkins, and this stars Michael Fassbender, which is one of my favorite actors, and this is a 7 out of 10 for me because it revolves around this couple that go to Eden Lake, and they're interrupted by these stupid kids that they're partying, having it's all takes place in England, and the youth is just they're ballsy, to say the least, just because they have a huge group and Michael Fassbender's the only guy. So they're like, you know what, this is a story of road rage, of what can happen if road rage goes bad. The youth actually jumps back and starts fighting Fassbender, and it becomes this hunting party between Fassbender, the wife, and this group of kids. And the shit that happens in there, holy crap. I was thrown back by some of the crazy stuff that happens in that film. And it's just so entertaining, especially if you like horror films, slasher films, all that stuff. This is extremely entertaining. It'll definitely keep you on your toes, and you got great acting in it, so it really does stand up. The pacing of the film is great. The actual cinematography is well done. It's a little bit digital, you could tell it's digital, so that it kind of takes away sometimes, but wow, the suspense is there. James Watkins has a good eye for that, and I think that he is going to be a good director in the future. Once he got a couple of films under his belt and everything, you're going to be able to see the greatness in him, so especially for these type of suspense thrillers and all that. So definitely check this one out. This one you have to send away for or watch on Amazon. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Manbitesfilm. We're going to be coming up on our 50th anniversary, which we're going to be reviewing a TV show that Branden and I thought was freaking phenomenal. So just a heads up with that, we'll be seeing you guys next week for the next episode. And this is Manbitesfilm. My name is Luis.